Hi, you're listening to another episode from the third floor.
Starting first year in Pobalscoil in can be daunting. New classrooms, new teachers, new faces. We're interested in finding out what the transition is really like from those who experienced it most recently.
We recently sat down with some first year students to find out what is this strange new world.
Before we sat down with our first years, we asked the year head JC1, Miss Kelleher, what her role is in helping first years adjust to a new school environment. Here she is talking to myself, Amy Arthur, and my classmate Sean Casey.
What are some of the worries or concerns that students starting first year might have?
Well, first of all, I want to say good morning to both of you and thank you for asking me to be part of your podcast. Look, there are many concerns and there are many worries for first years. The very first day that I stood outside the front door looking at the incoming first years, I saw great happiness, I saw great sadness, I saw great joy, I also saw a bit of trepidation. There was tears on some of them, there was smiles on others of them, and I think that one common theme that an awful lot of them had was, would they get on okay on their very first day? Would they fit in? And I think most importantly, would they make friends? I think that that's probably one of the most common concerns. Definitely the first week for first years that I could see. Some students had come from different counties. They had only arrived in County Kerry and in Kelleher that day, that week. Some students had come from abroad, like Ukraine, Eastern Europe and stuff like that, had only settled in. I had students who never went to a mainstream school, they were homeschooled. I had students that came from very small schools, very big schools, but I will say that the one common theme was, would they have friends, would they make friends, and would they fit in? As the weeks went on, I think their concerns changed. One of the big things was when they got their timetable, would they be able to read their timetable? Would they be able to remember their classes and their teachers? And then the next biggest problem was the lockers. When they got a locker, could they open it? Could they close it? Could they fit in all their books? So that was a real concern for the first week or two. But at the moment, things seem to have settled. I see that students have found their own friends, found their own clique, and they're well able to use their lockers at this stage, thankfully.
What do you as year head and the school do or say to ease these worries?
I suppose the main thing is to build positive relationship with students. As a year head, I would come in the morning before assembly and I would make myself available to students. So if they had any worries or concerns or questions, that I'm there available for them and they can ask me one-to-one, because very often it's quite difficult in a large classroom setting or a crowd to ask those questions. I suppose primarily I have a disciplinary role, as in that I'm doing their assembly and getting their notes and things like that, but I also have a pastoral care duty. So I work very closely with our care team here in school, which would be our chaplain, Miss Hickey, and our guidance counsellor, Miss Gleeson, and obviously our principal and deputy principal. So if a student had any concerns or worries or difficulties, that we will work with the student to help them. We've a great mentor system here in school as well. We've some fifth years that have gladly, and it's brilliant that they have volunteered to help. And as I always say as well, we've a great tutor system in school. Every single solitary class group has an SPHE tutor. So as part of the curriculum, you go through an awful lot as well about what it is to be a teenager, what it is to be an adolescent, moving into a new school, making friends, your concerns as you're growing and things like that. So we have very good structures in place. We also have, can I say, the homeroom. It's literally a drop-in area for every student, regardless of their needs or no needs, and it's a fantastic kind of a hub of activity, and it's always like seen as a safe haven. We also have our Nadine room. It's the emotional support unit where a student may want a bit of time to relax or may want to have a more, I suppose, in-depth confidential conversation with a teacher about something. So we've good structures in place, but I think the main thing, what I said to first years the very first day they came in, is respect each other. Respect yourselves, respect each other, respect your teachers. Have empathy for the other person. Try to understand that we all have concerns, that we have worries, and do your best to be, just try your best and do your best in school. That's all we want from all of you.
Perfect, thank you.
This week, Gearld O'Sullivan and Amy Arthur sat down with Ewan McCarthy, Roan O'Sullivan and Aisling McCarthy to ask them about their first year experience so far.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Today we're going to ask you about your experience in first year so far. So our first question to you is, what can you remember about your first day here at Pobalscoil? Aisling, maybe you can go first.
Yeah, so when we came in, first we went into, I think, 1A, and we had a big like talk, and they introduced all the teachers, and then we got split up into our year groups, and that's when it kind of started the whole like year of it.
So 1A is like a big assembly area for students.
Yeah, that's where that was the first classroom that we all went into, kind of, so.
How about you, Roan?
I can remember after we got like split up, we went up to our like tutor's room, but my tutor was out, so we had a substitute tutor, and she kind of brought us on a tour around the school, and yeah, it was pretty good.
Very good. And how about you, Ewan?
I suppose I remember going into 1A as well, and kind of just sitting down wondering what my class is going to be, and then when the classes were made, went up to tutor's room, and we kind of just had a chat with our new class.
Okay. And were you nervous on your first day before you came into school? Surely you were a bit nervous? Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you came into Pobalscoil, you weren't as nervous anymore, were you?
No, like you expected like it to be the worst, but it was like you just kind of overestimated everything, kind of. So it wasn't as bad as you would think it would be.
Yeah, I kind of thought, I think after I got my class, I got like a good few of my friends, and I was kind of happy with it then, and I kind of thought it was good after that.
Okay. And you made some new friends with your classes, probably from outside of your primary school?
Yeah, definitely.
Good.
And question 2, before you came into the school, was there anything you were particularly nervous about?
Well, I was most nervous about like getting lost, because like in my like primary school it is like a very small school, and we just obviously we were in like one base class for your whole day, so like there was no moving around, or like you wouldn't really forget your books because you'd be in the same class the whole time. So it was like a big change, since there's like the D block and then there's the 2 floors, but you get used to it after a while. Like I didn't think that it'd be as bad like as it was.
Yeah. And yeah, Rowan?
Yeah, I was kind of nervous at the start, but then I think it kind of got better after you kind of got to know a couple more people, and you kind of got to know the classes better and stuff. You kind of find your way around the place.
Yeah, it's kind of with friends and everything, you want to just settle in, and yeah. Ewan?
But I mean, I probably got lost 10 times in the first few days, so yeah, that's kind of what I was nervous about.
But it's okay now.
Yeah, it's fine now. I haven't gotten lost since.
Yeah, very good. So your taster subjects are still going on at the moment. What have they been like? Have you liked any subject you've seen through the tasters that you mightn't have picked before you came into school, or is there any subject that you picked that you now know you want to change or you don't like?
I like all the subjects that I chose in the first place, but I think like the tasters are good because like they give you a good idea of all the other subjects that you could have done, like if you're not happy with your subjects from the start.
Yeah. And how about you, Roan?
Yeah, I liked my subjects I had to start, but I think that I really like my tasters as well, but I don't think I'm going to change. So
You're doing tasters at the moment, and you picked subjects before you came into Pobalscoil.
Yeah.
And you obviously doing 8 subjects now, aren't you? Or whatever, 6 is it?
Yeah.
So have you any of the new subjects that you're doing that you didn't pick? Do you like any of them that you wouldn't have known about beforehand, or do you like the ones you have at the moment?
I like the ones I have at the moment, but I enjoyed the tasters. They were fun, I suppose.
Good.
But I'll probably stay with the subjects I already picked.
Yeah.
And the subjects you do have there, are they what you expected them to be?
Yeah.
Good. Are you the same?
Well, I'm doing geography for one of my chosen subjects, and it's very different to the ones in primary school because we kind of only based it on Ireland, but we're doing more about like around the world and stuff, so it's different.
It's good to learn about other countries too.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the same with me. I'm doing geography for a taster, and I thought it was going to be like countries and stuff, but the first time we went in, it was about like rocks and oceans and volcanoes and stuff.
If you could offer one piece of advice for the students who are in 6th class now and coming into Pobalscoil next year, what would it be?
Probably don't like fear the worst of the school, because like try and think about the better stuff, because at the end of the day you still have to go into the school every day, so you may as well just like try and enjoy your time there while you're in the school.
Yeah, just get on with it,
Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah, and Rowan?
I think that that obviously you can keep your friends from your old school or whatever school you came from, but like you can also try and like open yourself to new friends, and like older people, like if you have brothers or siblings or whatever, sisters, then like you can try and let them know if you're struggling, and that like the subjects aren't as hard. You think that they're hard when you're in primary, but your knowledge grows as well as you grow up, as they become harder. So
Yeah, it's just come in with an open mind, really. It's just kind of try to get used to it quickly and you'll be fine.
Yeah, just adjust, yeah. Perfect.
So tell us about the mentor program. How did you find it? Was it helpful when you first joined the school? And could you tell 6th class students now and future first years about the program and how it might have helped you?
So yeah, I think the mentors were like very helpful for the first day, especially because if you know at least one of the teachers well enough, like from your mentors, then you have at least one person to go to, like if you're stuck, because it's just nice to have someone to rely on for like the rest of the week if before you know more of the students and the teachers.
yeah, my mentor, when we first had our mentors, they like showed us how to open our lockers, and they're kind of very helpful, and they kind of help you out if you're like struggling with something, and I just thought that they were very helpful altogether.
Yeah, they kind of helped us to settle into the school because, well, they'd been there for longer than us anyway. But and they just kind of helped us settle in, and yeah.
So to those of you listening who might know about our mentor program, it's transition year and 5th year students who help our new first years coming in with any issues they may have with lockers, timetables, finding classrooms, etc. And most first years find it beneficial.
Yes.
Yeah.
How are you finding your lockers? Are you struggling to open them, close them, fit in your books or anything like that?
Well, I got a different locker to most people. I got one with a different lock, and I think it's slightly easier to open. But I know a lot of my friends are kind of struggling still with the opening of lockers, just because of like they're able to do it, but sometimes like the time kind of runs out like before we go to class and stuff. But yeah, the lockers are very handy because like you can pass them when you're going to different classes, and they're very easy to just get your books out of.
I at the start I thought that it was kind of difficult, but like I got it after like 2 or 3 days, and then I'm having a bit of a problem with like knowing what books to bring to each class, or like and fitting them in kind of my locker if I like only have a couple of classes that you need books for, and I'm just kind of forgetting my books a small bit, but I'm getting better, like.
Yeah, you get the hang of it as it goes on.
Yeah, at the start I found it tricky, but I just tried to get used to opening the lockers, and then they were fine after a while.
Yeah, I suppose like 1st and 2nd years have to learn how to open them now, because we didn't have them last year.
How are you finding the longer school day? Obviously it's about an hour longer. Are you noticing it much, or is it okay?
The longer school day, I thought that it would be like way worse, but it actually isn't that bad, because it's different to primary school. Because let's say I have art chosen, like we might have done art for only 20 minutes, but we now do like art for a set hour, and that would be just an hour gone from my day of a subject that I enjoy doing, so it's not as bad as I thought it would be.
I thought it would be a lot like longer, like I thought it would feel a lot longer, but like now when you kind of feed it for a couple of weeks or whatever, you kind of get used to it, and obviously then the half day and the Friday, it kind of pays off, like it's very good.
I suppose the extra hour, I don't really notice it much. It's just kind of
I suppose the moving between classes every hour or two breaks up the day.
Yeah.
Do you like moving just to get a kind of a couple minute break to talk to your friends between classes?
Yeah.
Yeah, most first years coming in seem to like that as a welcome change.
Yeah.
Do you find it the same?
Mm-hmm.
What's your favourite part about Pobalscoil that's new to you after coming in from primary school?
Well, I suppose there's a lot of different variety for like hobbies. Like, let's say there's music, that's a big thing in the school, like with the musical, and then they have their basketball and football teams and soccer, and also like just the teachers as well, like the change, because in my school we had like only women teachers, we didn't have any men, so it was like a difference. And also it's nice to have a variety for the different subjects, so like when they're like talking to you, they can only base it off your subject, not off your whole like performance in school.
Yeah, I really like that there's a lot new like subjects like I like business and tech graph and all these other new subjects, and all the new teachers as well. Obviously you miss your old teachers if you had a bit of crack with them, but like all the new ones are still really good, and there's like a lot more people in the school now. It's like it's good to make like new friends with all the new people.
Yeah, I like having like not just having the one teacher for the entire day, having having different teachers.
Yeah, it's a big difference compared to primary if you just have one for years.
Are you noticing that there might be more sporting opportunities for you after coming into secondary school where there's more students and more interest?
Well, yeah, like in my old primary school, they didn't have a girls' football team. They only had a mixed football team, and we'd only like play the odd time maybe during the summer. But in secondary school, there's a big difference because you're playing matches more often, and I guess you're like mixing with other students because there's a few second years in the trainings as well. So it's nice just to be able to do the sport and represent the school.
Yeah, and our old school was like fairly good for sport. Like we had loads of competitions and like football and stuff near the end of the school year. But it seems like in Pobalscoil it's starting off like a way quicker, which is good. Like we have a football blitz coming up like next week, so I'm looking forward to that. Like.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I'd be the same as Roan there, looking forward to the blitz next week. But yeah, even with sports, it's like myself and Roan went to the same primary school. We did a lot of sports towards the end of the year, but
it's good to have it throughout the year, I suppose, and you'll be able to travel to maybe more away games and like that. So that concludes our podcast for this week. Thanks for listening, and if you enjoyed the podcast, make sure to give us a follow. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you.